Have you ever stared into your jewelry box and just seen what looks like a mountain of forgotten potential?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm talking about the tangled chains, the single earrings, the chunky gold pieces that maybe were fashionable 20 years ago.
And now they just sit there. It's literal quantifiable wealth, just locked away in a drawer, doing nothing for you.
Exactly. So our deep dive mission today is, well, it's simple. We're going to unlock that value.
And we're going beyond just, pawning something for quick cash.
Right. We are figuring out how to leverage that old material into the maximum possible credit for something new, something exciting and modern. For those of you right here in Allen, Texas, this is really about getting the smartest trade possible.
And making sure you get a totally fair valuation for your assets. That's the key.
It is.
The materials we've pulled together for this are pretty comprehensive. We're going to cover the cold, hard math that determines the melt value of your gold.
And we're blending that with expert insights on, say, maximizing the sparkle of your new diamond.
Right. The core principle is turning that metal weight, whether it's from a broken chain or a beautiful vintage ring, into liquid cash or credit. It's a strategy that requires precise knowledge of the asset's true value.
Or you risk losing hundreds, maybe even thousands, to a lowball offer.
Absolutely.
And since this entire process really hinges on that first critical step, getting an honest appraisal, we want to point you toward a trusted starting point.
You have to start with someone you trust.
For those of you in the Allen area, this journey of smart upgrades should start with a highly recommended local resource, Allen Gold and Silver Exchange.
Yeah, they're known for their 5-star reviews and expert appraisals across a huge range of valuables.
We're talking diamonds, antique jewelry, gems, coins, metals, gold.
Stones, watches, luxury watches.
Yeah.
They can really be your guide through this entire process.
So let's jump right in. Section 1, unlocking that value. The sources we looked at show that gold, silver, and platinum are incredibly popular items for sale.
And critically, they're popular even if they are broken or bent or have, zero artistic value left as a finished piece.
Why is that?
Because when you're talking about selling precious metals, the value remains strictly in the weight of that raw material.
Okay, so this is where we really need to distinguish between pawning and selling. I think a lot of people use those terms almost interchangeably.
They do, but they are fundamentally different strategies. When you pawn an item, you're essentially taking out a secured loan.
Using your jewelry as collateral.
Exactly. The pawnbroker gives you cash, you have a set time to pay back the loan, plus interest, and you get your item back. It's really for a short-term cash need when you still want to keep the piece long-term.
A temporary liquidity solution?
Precisely.
Yeah.
But when your goal is upgrading, moving from an old asset to a new one, your objective is an outright sale or a trade-in.
You want maximum credit.
Maximum credit. A buyer looks at marketability. Can they resell that ring as is? If not, then they look at its bulk value.
Meaning what the raw metal will get from a refiner or a smelter?
Right. And even broken jewelry holds significant value there.
So what about the stones? If I have a broken gold setting but the diamonds are still intact, how does that change the valuation?
Oh, it changes it completely. The weight of the metal is appraised separately from the value of any genuine gemstones.
Okay.
So if you have jewelry with diamonds or other genuine stones, that value is retained even if the mounting is damaged. A good dealer will separate those and offer you credit for both.
For the raw metal and the individual stones.
Yes, which can then be applied to your new purchase.
Yeah.
And that is exactly why having a reputable partner for the appraisal is so critical.
You don't want someone just factoring in the gold weight and completely ignoring the value of the stones?
You can't let that happen.
That makes perfect sense. So, okay, let's unpack the math. We need to go from this blurry idea of value to a hard number. How do you determine the true minimum value of your gold before you even walk in the door?
Because that knowledge is your leverage.
It's all the leverage you have.
It is. Before you do anything, you have to know the calculations so you can manage your expectations and negotiate with confidence. If you're starting this journey in Allen, TX, we definitely recommend dealing with a trusted, highly rated buyer like Allen Gold and Silver Exchange.
You can reach them at 469-403-8356.
But even when you go to the best, the customer, you have to hold the math in your own hands.
Okay, so where do we start with the math?
You have to start with purity. Gold purity is measured in carats. 24 carats is 100% pure gold.
And anything less is an alloy mixed with other metals.
Right, mixed with copper, silver, zinc, whatever. For durability, or to change the color, or just for cost.
And that ratio is what determines the value floor.
Correct. That percentage is the entire game. For instance, 18-karat gold is 75% pure gold. You'll often see that stamped as 750/50 inside the piece.
Representing 750 parts per thousand.
Exactly. If you have 14-karat gold, it's 58.3% pure. That's typically marked as 583 or sometimes 585.
And what if you have an older piece, or maybe one from another country with a different system? Is there a quick way to calculate that percentage?
It's a simple fraction. You just divide the carat number by 24.
Okay.
So for your example, if you have an old 15K piece, you take 15 divided by 24, and that equals 0.625.
Or 62.5% purity.
That's it. That calculation is your most basic and your most essential tool.
Yeah.
You need to know that percentage before you move an inch.
Where should people be looking for these little numbers? They can be tiny.
They are almost always minuscule. Look on the inside band of rings or near the clasp on chains and bracelets. You will absolutely need a magnifying glass.
Or a jeweler's loop.
A jeweler's loop, for sure. And here's a huge warning that comes straight from our sources. If you see markings like GP,
Gold-plated.
or GF for gold-filled, or GEP for gold electroplated, that piece is not solid gold.
Meaning the melt value is tiny.
Dramatically lower.
Yeah.
Often negligible, has to be priced accordingly.
Okay, so that's purity. Now for the part that converts this knowledge into currency. How does the melt value calculation actually work?
This is a three-step process. Step 1. Get the total weight of the piece in grams. And you have to weigh everything, but exclude any non-gold parts, like, a big plastic insert or just heavy dirt.
Right.
Step 2. Calculate the pure gold content. You multiply that total weight in grams by the purity percentage we just discussed.
So let's use that example again. Say 10 grams of 14K gold.
Okay, so you multiply 10 grams by 0.583, which means you have 5.83 grams of actual pure gold.
And that 5.83 grams is what you are truly selling.
That is the intrinsic value. That's what a refiner cares about.
Okay, so now how do we price that pure gold? Step 3.
Step 3 involves the market. You need the current spot price of gold, and that price is almost always quoted per troy ounce.
Which is a little heavier than a standard ounce.
Just a bit. So to convert that spot price into a price per gram, you have to divide the current spot price by 31.1.
Wait, what? 31.1 exactly? Is that number just a standard?
It's the standard conversion worldwide. 31.103 grams per troy ounce. It's the immutable ratio that links the international commodities market to your local transaction.
Got it.
So once you have that dollar amount per gram, you multiply it by your pure gold content, the 5.83 grams in our example, and that gives you the gold's exact melt value.
So that melt value is what the gold is worth to a refiner. If I walk into a shop knowing that number, what's a reasonable offer to expect? I mean, a business has to make a profit.
Right, you should manage your expectations, but you also have to be critically realistic. This is where the knowledge saves you from getting ripped off.
Okay.
The sources found that some low-ball cash for gold buyers can offer as low as 47% of the melt value.
Wow, less than half.
When you hear that number 47%, you realize just how much that little bit of math is saving you.
47% sounds like highway robbery. What's actually fair?
A reputable buyer, someone who plans to resell the piece or just operates with lower overhead, might pay 70% to 75% of the melt value. They need profit to cover refining, staff, all that.
That seems reasonable.
And if the item is high quality, immediately resaleable, maybe even an antique, that number can climb even higher, sometimes approaching 90%.
So knowing your melt value lets you negotiate up or just walk away.
Confidently. The melt value is your floor, and the buyer's reputation determines the ceiling.
And speaking of value, let's flip the equation. If I'm buying a new piece of jewelry with my trade-in credit, you mentioned a rule about not overpaying for the gold content in that new piece.
That's right. Conversely, when you're buying a new item, aim to avoid paying more than double the gold content's melt value.
What do you mean?
So if the gold used in that new setting is worth, say, $600, and they're asking $6,000 for the piece without even considering the center stone.
You're paying a massive premium for the brand or the retail location.
Exactly. You need to be sure that price premium reflects true craftsmanship or the value of the stones, not just an inflated gold cost.
All right, so now we have our solid calculated credit from our old metal. Let's pivot to the fun part, the upgrade. We're in Allen TX, we've got our credit.
What are the modern, exciting designs that customers are looking for right now?
Well, the current market is heavily focused on making the most visual impact possible.
Bigger is better.
And that means a major shift toward elongated diamond shapes. Think ovals, elongated emeralds, radiants, and pear shapes.
I have noticed those everywhere. Why are they so popular right now? Is it just an aesthetic thing?
It's actually strategic visuals. These shapes, because they're longer, offer a greater visual spread for the same carat weight compared to a traditional round brilliant.
So a 1-carat elongated stone looks bigger on the finger than a 1-carat round.
Significantly bigger, often. And that's a huge value proposition for buyers.
And what about the metal itself? We talked about getting credit for old yellow gold. Are people just putting that into new yellow gold?
We're seeing a big resurgence in rose gold, actually. It gives a warmer kind of vintage feel, especially when you contrast it with a modern elongated diamond. That makes sense.
But mixed metals are also very trendy. You know, pairing a white gold or platinum setting with a yellow or rose gold band, it adds a lot of visual interest and makes it easier to pair with your other jewelry.
You also mentioned low-profile settings. Can you tell us more about the pros and cons of that trend?
Yeah, this is often called the extra low profile setting, and it's hugely popular, inspired a lot by celebrity rings.
The major pro being comfort.
Comfort and practicality. A lower setting is much less likely to spin on your finger or snag on your clothes during daily life.
That sounds great. So where's the drawback?
There are a couple. First, the lower the setting, the less light can enter the diamond from the sides, which can slightly reduce the fire. A great cut can compensate for that, though.
And the second
The
is
second and more practical drawback is wedding bands. If you go ultra low profile, you severely limit your options. A straight band just won't fit flush against it.
So you have to get a custom contoured band.
You're pretty much locked into a specially contoured or curved band that often only fits that one specific engagement ring. It's a trade-off.
Okay, so since a lot of these upgrades involve a new diamond, let's quickly run through the 4Cs. This is where you can really get the best bang for your buck if you're smart.
You have to compromise intelligently. Let's start with cut.
Right, because that's the 1C you should probably never compromise on.
That is the rule of thumb. Cut determines the diamond's brilliance, its sparkle, its fire. It's all about how light is refracted back to your eye.
So a very good cut is okay, but excellent is what you want.
Excellent or ideal is preferred. If you compromise on cut, you get a dull diamond, no matter how big or colorless it is.
Better to have a smaller, perfectly cut diamond than a huge, dull one.
Every time.
Then there's color. This is where the price can jump really quickly.
And this is the smart compromise. We highly recommend sticking to the GHI category. These are near colorless.
And the visual difference between, say, an H color and a D color
Is often imperceptible to the average person, especially once it's set in metal. But the price difference is immense. Don't pay a premium for a difference you can't even see.
Okay, what about clarity? How clean is eye clean?
Eye clean means exactly what it sounds like.
Uh,
You can't see the inclusions with your naked eye. SI1, slightly included 1, is the recommended minimum baseline.
At SI1, the flaws are generally too tiny to spot without a loop.
Correct. Going up to VS, or very slightly included, is safer, sure, but you are paying a hefty premium for clarity you can only see under magnification.
So SI1 is the sweet spot for value.
For most people, yes. Just avoid the I1 category or lower for an important piece, as heavy inclusions can actually compromise the diamond's durability.
And finally, carat weight. Any secret tips there to save some money?
Yes, avoid the magic numbers.
What are the magic numbers?
Everyone wants the round figures, like 1 carat, 1.5, 2 carats. Demand skyrockets right at those marks, and so does the price per carat.
So you can save a lot by dropping just below them.
Hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. Buy a 0.9 carat stone instead of a 1.0. The size difference is visually zero, but the price difference is substantial.
One last thing on those trendy elongated cuts. What is the bow tie effect?
Ah, yes. The bow tie is a dark, shadow-like band that stretches across the center of elongated diamonds, like ovals and pears.
It's just part of the physics of the cut.
It's an inherent result of the pavilion shape. The key thing to know is you cannot eliminate it entirely. It will always be there to some degree. The goal is to find a well-cut stone that minimizes the effect, so it's barely noticeable.
A poor cut will have a really obvious dark bow tie.
Exactly.
So if we connect all these pieces, trading in your jewelry is this powerful two-part equation. First, getting maximum calculated value for your old metal.
And second, using that knowledge to make a smart, informed purchase for the new piece.
Right.
Absolutely. Whether you're selling old gold, pawning an antique watch, or buying a new diamond, the risk of dealing with shady, low-ball characters is very real.
That 47% offer we talked about.
It happens constantly, especially if the customer looks uncertain. Our reliable local partner in Allen, TX, is essential for accurate appraisals and fair transactions.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? If you're sitting there, Alan, looking to transform those dusty old assets into a stunning modern upgrade, you need to call a top local expert.
And we really encourage you to take that actionable step now. Call Allen Gold and Silver Exchange. They're a highly recommended local expert known for their 5-star reviews.
They can help you turn those old valuables into credit towards something new and exciting.
And they handle appraisals for everything. It's not just gold. They ensure you get fair value, from diamonds to luxury watches.
Give them a call at 469-403-8356. And if you're just not sure if you want to sell your valuables yet, that's okay. Give them a call anyway and get that free expert appraisal. Find out your true melt value.
Before we close, here's one final thought for you to consider. We talked about how knowing your melt value, the purity and the weight, is essentially your certificate of minimum value when you sell an old piece.
It's the knowledge you carry to protect yourself.
It is. So the question is, if that knowledge is so vital for selling a scrap piece, what level of official certification and background knowledge should you demand when you're buying your next modern piece? And what does that independent certification truly guarantee about the actual price you're paying?
That's something to mull over. Use this newfound knowledge to confidently navigate the market, get the best value for your old gold, and find that perfect upgrade. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
And call the local experts. Allen Gold and Silver Exchange, 469-403-8356.